everybody. Today's topic is box and whisker plots. As you can see, this is a graph that kind of looks like the whiskers kind of look like a cat, which is why it's named box and whisker. Most often, though, you will also hear this is said just as box plots without the whisker part. So this is a graph, and we are in our unit all about graphs and data. You're going to see many different types of graphs. This is the first one. You will see dot plots, bar graphs, circle graphs, and yeah, that's in our topic of graphs. So we're going to talk about box and whisker graphs today, plots, all the key parts to it, the definitions and vocabulary words that you might have to get used to. And from here, we'll get a little deeper into it in future days. All right. Well, this warm-up is very important. It's going to help you remember some old vocabulary words that you should know. So we've got a set of data here. It says the data represents Sergio's quiz grades this 6 weeks. Find the mean, median, mode, and range of the data set. Hope those words are kind of ringing a bell. Do you remember mean, median, mode, and range? So we have 6 data points. These are all his 6 quiz grades. Looks like he did good on this one, but not so good maybe on some of the other ones. All right, let's talk about the mean first. The mean is the average. That's just another word for average. Remember, how do you find the average? You pull out all of the numbers, right? You take all of these numbers, you add them up and get a total. It's going to be the total on the top divided by the number of items. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like. We're going to add up his quiz grades. We're going to do 13 plus 72 plus 65. 13 plus 72 plus 65 plus 40 plus 65 plus 92, and we get 347. Okay, that's the total on the top. Oops, 347. Divided by how many actual quizzes there are, the number of items here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There were 6 quizzes. So 347 divided by 6, we get 57.8. This is his average. The average of all of his quiz grades, including the high grades, the low grades, and the middle ones, his quiz average is about 57.8. Okay, so not so good. And that is what mean is, also called the average. All right, the median next. The median, you should know that word, doesn't it sound a lot like middle, like medium or middle? The median is basically where we take all of these numbers, we need to pull them out, and we need to put them in order first of smallest to greatest. So I'm going to order these quizzes. The lowest grade was a 13, then the 40, then the 65, there was another 65, then a 72, and the highest grade a 92. So I've just pulled those out and put them in order. From there, I'm going to go to the middle one, and that's going to be my median. So you can cross out one on this end, one on that end, one on this end, one on that end. Okay. So my median is basically, well, it's going to be 65 in this case. It's not maybe a great example, but what's in between 65 and 65? It's just the middle number, exactly the middle number. It's going to be 65. Okay, so mean and median are kind of the ones that require a little bit of work. Now mode is just, mode's the easiest one. It's most common or most often repeating. So mode is most common. All you have to do is look at the list and pick out the one that is repeated more than once. So which one is that? That would be the, let's see, it's the 65, because there's 2 of those. Everything else is just 1 of each. So the mode is in this data set is 65. The range. All right, last one, the range. The range is just the difference between the highest and the lowest. Okay, so the range is going to be 92, that's the highest one, and the lowest one is a 13. So the difference between the two, so how far apart basically, or what was the range of this data? 92 minus 13, and that is 79. Okay, I know it's a warm-up, but today's warm-up is kind of important. There's a lot of, well, old words, but stuff that you need to be familiar with. All right, mean, median, mode, and range. We're going to use these same exact terms when we talk about our box and whisker plots. The objective today is to know the parts of a box and whisker plot and also interpret data. So a lot of definitions and names here, but then you need to also know how to read it and pull out information from the box and whisker plot. So let's get started. Okay, a box and whisker plot, also sometimes just called box plots. It displays data using 5 key numbers, right? There's going to be 5 important parts to it. So the following table shows the number of minutes Josie read each day of the week. Monday she read 10 minutes, Tuesday 0, Wednesday 24, Thursday 65, Friday 32. What I want you to do first is to take all those numbers, pull them out, and put them in order. Okay, so 0 first, then 10, then 24, 32, what am I missing? And 65. Okay, pull them out and put them in order. We want them in order. It makes things much easier. So, first number that we need is the minimum. This is the first term. The minimum, that means the smallest number. Okay? So that's going to be the 0, right? That's the minimum amount of minutes that she read. So the minimum is going to be 0. Then we need the maximum. And that's going to be, well, what's the biggest number? The max number of minutes that she read. That would be the 65. So we have those two, minimum and maximum. The next number we need is the median. Remember median from the warm-up? Okay, median is going to be the number that's exactly in the middle. So cross out from side to side, and what's the one that's right in the middle? That's the 24. So the median here for this set of data is 24. Okay. So we've got those 3. And now the next set of data we need is something called quartile 1 and quartile 2. Okay. Quartile 1, basically, remember how we said the median was 24, right? That's our middle point. So we're going to look at the group that's in front of the 24, and what is in the middle of that? That would be the 10. So it's something called quartile 1. When we actually draw this graph, you'll see this much better. And then we're going to do the same thing for quartile 2. Again, starting from our middle median that was 24, if we look this way from 24 to the end, the median, the middle number there is the 32. So this is our quartile 2. All right, we have our 5 numbers. All right, we need to draw a box and whisker plot. So here's how we draw it. Let me rewrite these. Hang on. Where can I need some room. All right, so what did we have? We had a minimum of 0. We had a maximum of, what was it, 65. We had a median of 24. We had quartile 1, Q1, that was 10. And we had Q2, quartile 2, that was 32. Okay, we're going to take all of these numbers and put it in a box and whisker plot. Here we go. We need to draw a number line. Excuse me. We're going to draw a number line, and we should look at the numbers that we kind of have. Here we have a 0, a 65, a 24, a 10, a 32, and we should kind of number our number line that way. Okay, we need to go from 0 all the way up to 65. Okay, kind of in the middle would be what, like 32, I guess. And honestly, we don't really need to number every single thing. Just maybe you can do the minimum, the maximum, and the median. All right, at the minimum, we're going to put a dot. That represents our minimum of 0. Okay, at the maximum, the 65, we're also going to put a dot. That represents this maximum of 65. At the median, right here, at the median, where was our median? Actually, our medium, no. Our median was 24. So where would 24 be in relation? It would be somewhere between 0 and 32, correct? It might be closer to the 32. So right here, maybe this would be 24. So right here above the 24, we're going to draw a line. We can say Q1 needs to be at 10, and Q2 is at it's at 32. Okay, at Q1 we also draw a line, at Q2 we also draw a line, and we connect this and make this into a box. And now the whiskers part of it. From this box, we go all the way to the end to that dot, and from this box, we go all the way to the end to that dot. And there's our box and whisker plot for the minutes that Josie read. All right, that may have been a lot of new stuff, guys, but just go piece by piece. We're going to do a couple of more examples. Know that these 5 numbers are what we're always going to pull out: a minimum, a maximum, a median, a quartile 1, and a quartile 2. Let's do some more examples, and you can rewatch parts of the video if you need to. All right, the following data set represents the number of animal crackers in a snack-sized box. Okay, so here are the 5 numbers that we need to pull out. Before we do that, we should reorder our numbers from smallest to greatest. Okay, so let's do 34 first. Then we have, what's next after 34? It would be the 45. 45. Then 47. We have 2 48s. We have a 49 and a 50. It's just hard to write really small. Okay. And 50. Let me double check that I didn't miss anything. Let's see, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. All right, what's the minimum? That's the smallest number. That would be the 34. The maximum is the largest one. That would be the 50. Okay, what's the median? Well, what's the one right in the middle? Right? If you keep crossing as you go, crossing out, the one that's in the middle is the 48. That's the median right here. Quartile 1. So quartile 1, you look from the median, you look on this side, and you pick the one that's right in the middle. That would be the 45. And then on the other side of the median, you look at the one that's right in the middle, that would be the 49. Okay, so those are the 5 numbers. Let's graph it on our box and whisker plot. Minimum is going to get a dot, so let's see, this is going from 30 to 50. So minimum is a 34, maybe, okay, it would be right here in front of the 35. Maximum is 50, so we'd put a dot right there at the 50. The median is going to be, those are the only 2 dots. Everything else gets lines. All right, remember that. The only 2 dots are the minimum and the maximum. Median of 48. Median of 48, well, I guess 48 would be, no, it would be closer to the 50, right? Closer to the 50. Hang on. Maybe right here, because that's where 48 would be. Okay, so that gets a line. And then Q1 and Q3 do also get a line. So Q1 is 45, that's a line right there. And Q3 is 49, that's a line right here, even closer. And then we connect these and make a box. Do a line from the box to the end, a line from the box to the end. And there you go, that's the box and whisker plot for that set of data about animal crackers. Okay, so this box and whisker plot is more like skewed to the right, we say, like it's more towards the right side. There was just this one outlier number, the minimum being all the way here, but most of our data points were towards the right, towards the 50. And that's kind of how this representation helps you think. All right, let's do the same thing to number 2. Following data set represents the number of hours a small candle will burn. You need to order first, and this is going to be a little bit of a pain, okay? Okay, 7, then 8, then 9, then there's another 9, oops. Then there's a 10, oops. Then there's 2 11s. Then there is a 12, a 14, 2 15s, a 16, and a 19. Okay. All right. Putting it in order is always more work. Minimum, that's the 7, the smallest number. Maximum, that's the 19, largest number. So we have our minimum and maximum. From here, we cross out and let's get our median, the exact number that's in between. So it's going to be, okay, we cross out, cross out, cross out, cross out. Work from the outsides, guys. Okay, so we end up with the median being the 11. Okay, now we want our Q1 and Q3. So remember, how do we get those? Those are, oops, that was a 9. Did we have a 10? Yep. We had a 10, 11, what was it? Okay. How we found the Q1 is we know our median's right here, and we look at all the numbers towards the left of the median and pick the one that's in the middle. So that would be, okay, the 9. We do the same thing for the other side. Right, so here's our median in the middle. We look at all of the numbers on the other side, and we start crossing out from the ends, and we end up with the one in the middle. That's going to be 15. All right, now we place our dots in our boxes. The minimum gets a dot, so the minimum is a 7, so I guess that would be between 5 and 10 right there. The maximum also gets a dot, that's at 19, so very close to the 20. All right, the remaining three are going to be lines. The median is a line at 11. The quartile 1 is also a line at the 9. Quartile 3 is a line at the 15. Connect these, make a box, draw a line towards the end, and those are the whiskers. Alright, rewatch any part of this video. Remember, you can always message me and ask me questions. Let's do our final example. Use the given box plot to determine the 5-number summary. So this time they've given us the box plot, and we need to pull the numbers out. So this is a good way to work backwards. Okay, what's the minimum? The minimum would be, in this case, they haven't put a dot, but that's where it would be. Looks like that's right at 11. What's the maximum? That would be right there. And we're going to estimate that that looks to be about, what, 18? Yep. And what's the median? That would be the median. Remember, oops. The median is going to be this line right here, and that is 14. Quartile 1 is going to be this. Where does that look to be? About 12. What's quartile 3? That would be that line right there, and that looks to be around 16. There you go. So we've gone backwards, used the box plot, and pulled out those important 5 numbers. So to summarize this whole topic, box plots are used to compare the, this is not so important. It should say spread and distribution, but those are not words that I really talked about. Okay, interquartile range. Interquartile range means, remember the quartile, that's this box. What's the range in that? That means what's the highest and the lowest subtracted. So that's going to be 45 minus 15, right? That's the difference between quartile 3 minus quartile 1. That's 45 minus 15 equals 20. And then, what is just the range of the whole thing? Not interquartile range, but just the general range. That means that is the highest, the maximum, minus the minimum. So that's going to be 60 minus, where does that seem to be? About 7. So 60 minus 7, that would be about 53. Alright, so that's box plots, guys. Make sure you take all of these notes. We will definitely review this some more on a Zoom, so don't worry about it, but make sure you watch the video and at least have notes to refer to. Alright, see y'all next time.